What's up guys, this is Zach from Counterspace Garage, and tonight we are here for part 2 of our series with the Supra MK5. In the first part of the series, we did a couple baseline pulls with the car to get an idea of what the stock power output was. And this time we added a high flow catted downpipe and did a custom tune on the car to see what we could manage. We made about 15% extra torque across the board. So we went from a baseline of an average of about 365 foot-pounds of torque and 305 horsepower to a peak of 415 foot-pounds of torque and 350 horsepower across the board. Every dyno reads differently here, so the important thing to keep in mind is the percentage gain over stock, not the raw output. We managed to achieve this with about 1 PSI more than stock, up to about 5,000 RPM. And then instead of letting it taper off like factory, we simply maintained that to redline. If you can see here, the old pulls had quite a bit more inconsistency between each run. We really worked to iron that out and keep the car as dead on as possible. And you can see that in the last few pulls we did with the final revision, the car is basically identical pull to pull. There is no more variation. All right, so the first step today was to re-baseline the Supra with the new part on the car, which was the high flow catted downpipe, to see what the car was doing with the new parts on the factory tune. And just like we expected, what we found was that the car was overboosting a little bit and overshooting about 2 or 3 PSI beyond what its target was. So the first step was to reconfigure the OEM boost control tables to work properly, so that every time the car went into a pull, it would hit exactly on the target and not over or undershoot it. The next step after that was to refine the field tables, as even at stock boost levels, on a completely factory tune, the Supra does have some knock correction. Most of this is due to the fact that for emissions purposes, BMW and Supra try to maintain a much leaner AFR until absolutely necessary in the power band. Whereas on a performance application like this, where we're raising the power output of the car across the board, we really have to throw that out of the window to keep safety at the foremost of our concern here. Once we adjusted the fuel tables, recalibrated the boost control system, it was time to actually raise the torque limits and allow the car to make more power. And the result of that is what you see on the graphs here. You can see that the gain in torque is essentially identical across the board. We really didn't want to change the shape of the power curve too much, just accentuate it. Because this is still on California 91 octane, our goal here is really to make sure that the car can maintain this level of consistency and output on the track where conditions will be at their absolute worst. For the next round, we'll complete the bolt-ons on the car, and we will also be testing race gas and potentially an ethanol blend. So for more updates, please like and subscribe to Supra MK5 and Counterspace Garage on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.